Abikora was a shitty, balding, rum-struck loser who's terrified of talking to girls. But his pathetic life flipped the moment his fat-ass teacher decided to bless him with the legendary island ride.
さっきは助けてくれてありがとう。
先生。
The anime begins with the teacher entering class with what looks like Heinz ketchup dripping from her forehead, scaring the hell out of the students who think she's cursed. In a creepy tone, the teacher introduces herself as Hayan Huamura. And ever since that day, news spreads across the school, with some students even accusing her of writing dark magic spells in a grimoire. The accusations continue with a girl claiming Hayan tackled her to the floor before muttering a curse at her. On his way home, Abikora can't believe creepy Hayan is his homeroom teacher because he was hoping for an hourglass body teacher he could simp over and jerk to all day. Coming across his classroom, he hears a weird-ass sound inside and decides to check it out, only to find Hayan reciting the Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers poem. Quickly, he hides his ugly ass, questioning what the hell she's doing. Hayan keeps reciting the poem, but God forgot to bless her with enough stamina to say 8 words before getting exhausted. Moving on, she announces to the class they'll be learning about selling digital products on Shopify, puzzling Abikora because he's damn certain all classes ended hours ago. He looks around only to see the creepy teacher teaching plushies, drilling an idea into his head that she's practicing a forbidden ritual on the plushies so she can later clap their stuffed cheeks. For me, honestly, I'd rather doom-scroll TikTok baddies in forbidden pants all day while slowly rotting my brain. This only makes him believe the student's accusations that she's an undercover witch from the Disney universe. She writes an opinion on the board, asking the plushies to explain the meaning, but randomly picks a cuttlefish plushie and answers the question for it. Witnessing this, Abikora figures she might not be a witch and is just practicing teaching students using plushies as substitutes, and she then writes underwear, calling on Puffer Fishquin to answer, but her voice is like an ant talking to a human, and she notices rubbing her stomach. Abikora thinks she's inhaling and exhaling to pitch her voice louder, but to his shock, she's only letting her 40,000-ton melons admire the beautiful world God created. Shocked, Abikora wonders why she took off some of her feathers, but as she breathes in and out, he realizes she only did it because her massive melons stuffed into a shirt meant for a baby were making it difficult for her to inhale and exhale properly. As she breathes in and out, sounding like Lois birthing Stewie, he realizes she is weak and wimpy, which explains why her job as a teacher is so ass. Just then, she stoops to take a seat, but forgets she moved the chair. And Abikora, realizing she'll be admitted to the hospital, jumps in, acting as the perfect cushion for her landing, secretly hoping her fat ass would smother him into sweet oblivion. Afterwards, she reveals she's nervous, clumsy, and has no stamina. But she finally landed her dream job of becoming a teacher, so despite her condition, she's determined to do her best. This morning, she fell on her forehead, causing an uproar, and Abikora finally realizes why ketchup was dripping from her forehead. Suddenly, she pulls out her so-called cursed grimoire to check upcoming class schedules, and after peeking inside it, Abikora also realizes the book contains class schedules, not spells like students claim. He finally realizes his homeroom teacher isn't a witch, but a shy lady with no stamina. With that, he bids her farewell, but she stops him, slamming into him like a truck, uttering her thanks for saving her earlier, making his face redder than a snow bunny's cheeks after I slapped them raw. The next day, while returning some cleaning equipment to the storage room, thoughts of Hayan's well-being pop up in Abikora's head, and if he couldn't be unluckier, he encounters her doing yoga in Naruto's tracksuit. He questions if she's training to improve her stamina, but the body paint-tight tracksuit she's in can't let him think straight, and he assumes it has to be a tracksuit since she was in school. Pulling out a jump rope, she utters, "It's time for her special training." And Abikora thinks she'll effortlessly nail it like this hot model. And disappointingly, Hayan is so clumsy she ends up hitting her rice cakes and melons with the rope, when Abikora should be the one doing that, preferably with his hands and teeth in the end. She gets entangled in the rope, calling it quits for the day. Abikora jumps in and holds her hand. Quickly, Hayan stutters to say, "Don't get the wrong idea," explaining the school has a jump rope contest every October, and she was only practicing so she can enter without looking pathetic. He advises her to keep her training simple and even train at her home, something she already tried. But when she overexerts herself, she makes sounds like she's getting railed and she's scared of disturbing her neighbors. She then asks him to help her, which he gladly accepts, starting with stretching. In his mind, he wonders how the hell he ended up stuck between Hayan's legs and confesses Anaconda Sensei can't keep calm. To get dirty thoughts out of his head, he certainly has to start a conversation fast. But without thinking, he asks, asks what her type is. For a moment, she thinks about it before saying her type is someone who can dress like Clavicular, speak like Leonardo DiCaprio, and lead like Tyler, the type of teacher she aspires to be. Hearing this, he realizes she thinks he's talking about teachers when he's only shooting his shot at clapping teacher cheeks. Later, as it rains, and Abikora makes his way home, he thinks about Hyen and how she's trying her best to be a good teacher, but her clumsiness keeps making students assume she's a witch. Coming across the library, he decides to make a stop, but runs into Hyen and, as usual, hides before she notices him. Curious, he wonders what she's reading until he discovers she's reading the bio of an author, which makes her cry. He assumes she's going to return it, but to his shock, she throws it in along with other books she's buying. Books like How to Control a Class of Children Disguised as Wolves, shocking him. At the cashier, Hyen rummages through her purse, making Abikora think she doesn't have enough money and that she's not only weak in stamina, but weak in budgeting. After searching her purse like a police officer, Hyen breathes a sigh of relief, easing Abikora's worries. When it's finally her time to pay, Hyen manages to pay for the book, but not for a bag to protect them, which only costs 5 yen. And Abikora wonders if Hyen is so broke she can't even find an extra 5 yen. As she prepares to leave, he knows damn well she'll struggle to get home in the rain while carrying books and an umbrella. Remembering he has a spare bag, he calls her to hand it over. Startled, she almost trips but lands in his arms and apologizes. That aside, he gives her the bag, saying it's thin like his meat, but it's better than nothing. At first, she hesitates, but after a little convincing, she accepts just as a stupid-ass driver passes and drenches the duo in water. However, Hyen is glad her books aren't in the same mess as her, all thanks to Abikora's bag. She then takes off her jacket, forgetting she's drenched, and the thin white undershirt she's in will easily display her properties to the world. Being a gentleman, Abikora turns away and orders her to put her jacket back on before she makes him cream his pants right there on the street, like a pathetic virgin. The next day, Abikora's walk to school is delayed by Hyen, who is gasping like a soon-to-be ice-skating giraffe on the ground. He asks what the hell is up with her, gasping like a woman giving birth, to which she replies that she woke up late and is now in a hurry to prepare for the longest homeroom since she began teaching. With that, she tells him by walking up to a student to say hello, but because she looks like a mess mixed with her low stamina voice, it scares the student away. Abikora, watching this, wonders how she's going to survive 1 hour of homeroom. Later in class, Hyen walks in more exhausted than when Abikora met her earlier that morning, uttering that she has finally come. But the kids think she said their time to die has finally come. Abikora in the background feels pity for her because she can't go 1 minute into homeroom without making the students feel like Jeepers Creepers is on their tails. As she writes some shit on the board, he notes she's even clumsier than ever and her face is red, which makes him question if she's still recovering from earlier. Just then, she accidentally bumps into the table, knocking a utility knife to the ground. When she tries to retrieve it, her tights get stuck on a nail, making her panic while holding the utility knife. Seeing this, the students are under the impression she's charging up to attack. But Abikora isn't bothered because he knows she can't even throw a tennis ball with her noodle arms. He figures something might be wrong with her, which is why she's on the floor, but he doesn't know why. For answers, he sacrifices his peaceful school life and announces he'll be class president. He walks to the front of the class, but even he is kind of shy like Hyen. Whispering, he asks why she's on the floor before discovering her tights are stuck on a nail, ripping it open, and to make matters worse, she isn't wearing any Disneyland protection. Unshi explains waking late made her forget to wear that thing and begs him to help her because she doesn't want her first 1 hour homeroom to end in failure. So after distracting the class with a YouTube Shorts video on his phone, he untangles her tights, which makes a weird sound, puzzling the students. That afternoon, an ugly asshole approaches Abikora, asking him to do his homework since he's now the class president. But Abikora says, hell no. Unbeknownst to the class, he only became class president to help Hyen, but now he's convinced he made a mistake because he can slowly see his ordinary school life crumbling. On his desk, he finds a note left by Hyen thanking him for earlier and ordering him to meet her alone after class so they can discuss class operations. And he thinks being class president isn't so bad. Unfortunately, his thought of Hyen rewarding him with the tunnel of goodness is far from reality. Confused, he asks if they shouldn't be discussing class operations, which she confirms, but she informs him the principal pointed out her soft voice in a staff meeting earlier, asking if it isn't difficult for students to hear her. So, Hyen decides to use a megaphone to make her voice louder. But even when she's shouting on the same level as Bruce Banner, Abikora can't hear shit. However, he says it's a good idea because students are scared of her since they can't hear what she's saying. Confused, she asks him to explain the students being scared of her thing, making him realize she hasn't noticed students see her as Freddy Krueger. Finally, it hits her because she always noticed students were afraid to look her in the eye. Come to think of it, she heard he was an assertive student in the first year, but somehow he volunteered to be class president, which gave him the courage to talk to her, and he questions where the hell this chick is going. Back to voice practice. He says using a megaphone to project her voice is a good idea and tells her to speak slower. She demonstrates it, and for the first time he can clearly hear her voice, making her happy, excited. She says people will finally hear her properly and goes to try it behind the podium. She notes that with the megaphone enhancing her voice, students won't be scared of her anymore, and her feelings will reach everyone while he cheers her on. At that moment, tears appear in her eyes and she thanks Abikora for helping her, which makes him blush. Suddenly, the megaphone grows feet and jumps out of Sensei's hand, and Abikora jumps in as always to save it, only for the duo to fall into an awkward position. I'm going to be honest, I wished all my teachers were like Miss Hyan. I could touch her melons and she would be too shy to